The University of Michigan is on historic tribal lands, and we have had 2 centuries of challenging and at times extremely contentious interactions with the 12 tribal nations of this state. The Anishinaabe nations, better known to many of us as Chippewa, Odawa, and Potawatomi, are sovereign nations with proud and contemporary peoples. Today's perspective is based on more than 15 years of work, which has been mostly learning how to listen. Rematriation is about seeds, seeds going home. At a transition point in another extremely contentious interaction of the tribes and universities, one of the elders, Sidney Martin, shown here, asked if there were any seeds in the university's collections. The answer is more than 4,000 seed collections are in the archival museums, and that they are known with their data as to whose garden, where it's from, when it's from, and ancillary notes. This is a potentially extremely difficult situation. What we have here is community-sponsored research under the guidance of the elders, who are all women. This is a matriarchy. Knowledge flows through the matriarchy. This is community-centered research about its questions, its protocols, and its evaluations, and the central issue is these seeds are spiritually alive. They are our kin. They are here dying in the museum. How do we bring them home? Rematriation is about relationships. It is seeds to place. It is seeds to people. And remember, everyone who knew them is dead. But the communities remember. It is seeds to ceremony, including new ceremonies that must be made to create the welcoming space for them to be. And everything must be done by the traditional protocols as determined by the matriarchy. I am a guy. I'm not tribal. There's been much to learn by listening. You might wonder, where are the university students in all of this until fairly recently? And the tribal elders, the Midday, the women, were very clear about this, that in these years of developing the relationships, that they had to determine whether a project at this, coming out of this university, was a continuation of the historical trauma and genocide of the boarding schools by which the culture was nearly annihilated. Was this, quote, just another deception? These are the living relatives. To do this has required traveling extensively and learning throughout the Great Lakes, and most of all, learning how to listen, and how then to be supportive of other people's finding their own heritage in places we steward. The last 2 years, we've had harvest feasts, which are only announced after they have happened for reasons of cultural security, and the harvests are deepening the relationships. There's a great story about the watermelon here, but more importantly is the eagle staff of the Little Traverse Bay Band of the Odawa Indians. I'm unaware of, other than the powwow, it has ever been on the university property. The seeds renew relationships of ourselves and to the peoples of the cultures. This past year, and just 2 weeks ago, we had the Harvest Feast, was bringing back a corn that is grown only by one tribal elder in northern Minnesota, 18 hours drive from here. Meeting with him, there in red, Jacques Desjarlais, that's not his real name, but it's how he goes on everything. Naming is an interesting convention. But how do these seeds come back to the community to support tribal farms, nutritional studies? Obesity and malnutrition are severe, both on and off reservation, and in the restoration of language and culture, including at this university, which is unique amongst major universities of the Great Lakes of not having a strong indigenous language component. The request here is to do community-centered research with the community. And over the years, what we have done is worked with most of the nations of the state, with more than 12 different departments of this university, as ways to find linkage points to engage as the seeds find their way home. And so to all who have funded, I thank you. This is quite a relationship-building one, and we all look forward to a new way. Miigwech. Thank you.